Hey, the Dallas Fort Worth has some of the most amazing suburbs anywhere. You know what? Austin, or not Austin, I'm talking about Dallas. Southlake and Frisco are two of the most amazing. But what's the difference? And really, which one is best? We're going to tackle both of those questions today. Stay tuned. We're going beyond real estate. Hey, welcome back to Beyond Real Estate, where friends, folks, and family like you learn more about the best neighborhoods in Dallas, real estate tips, and just what's going on in the real estate industry.
Yeah, if you don't know, I am Tisha White. Bam, that's Brian White. We are with Blue Fuse Realty, brokered by EXP, and we love all things real estate. So absolutely hit us up. Tell us if you love real estate. I mean, put like throw a 7 or something in the comments. Let us know you're there. Would love to hear from you, and we're excited about our topic today.
You were getting tricky dropping a 7 in the comments. That's I like it. Drop a 7 if to let us know that you're there. So today we're gonna have some fun. You know, we love talking about all of our all of the neighborhoods in Dallas Fort Worth. There's a ton of them. It can be kind of tough to like figure out. Okay, first the suburb, then neighborhoods, and like what's the best. So today we're talking about two areas. We're talking about Southlake, and we're going to talk about Frisco because those are kind of two of the most popular.
Yeah, two of the most popular cities. Absolutely super cool cities. Lots of fun things to talk about with both of these city suburb areas in the Dallas market. And, let's talk about how we're going to choose these kind of things. Let's talk a little bit about how are we going to decide?
Well, there's a clear winner right out of the gate because Frisco was voted the number one best place in the country to get quarantined. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, hey, how that's hard to compete with. I mean, if the last year, if you've been in Frisco, you've been in the right place, I guess, huh?
right? So no, so really, we are going to talk about just a number of different areas that things that might be important to you guys watching. We're going to talk about location, stuff to do. Normally, like when you're not quarantined, stuff to do and what's going on in the area is important. We're talking about schools, and then we're going to hit on just a few different neighborhoods that people might want to know about, get more information on, and look up.
Yeah, absolutely. The Okay, so Southlake, let's
Yes.
talk about. Tell us a little bit. I'm gonna let Brian tell you about this because if I start telling you like location, I'll be like, yeah, it's like complete. I get all my location completely backwards. So tell us a little bit about where Southlake is from a
Yeah.
location perspective.
So Southlake is just west of Dallas Fort Worth Airport. So if you're like people from out of state are going, I don't know where that is. So Dallas Fort Worth Airport's really right in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. And Southlake is just to the west of that. One of the greatest things about Southlake is that so many people are executives at companies around the country, and or they're traveling sales folks. So getting onto a plane and having easy access to DFW Airport is super important. I mean, Southlake is just outside of that. I mean, it is literally just west of it. It's also, as you might imagine, it is south of the lake. Southlake is south of Grapevine Lake, so west of Dallas Fort Worth Airport. It too is really right in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth, so easy commute to both places. Easy, it sits right off of Highway 114, so easy to drive down to Dallas or Fort Worth via the highways, and then it's actually just direct access to Arlington as well. Arlington is the third biggest metro area in Dallas Fort Worth. So just depending on where you're working makes it's good to know you can get to all of those places here pretty quickly.
And then if we think about like the size of Southlake, it's about 32,000 residents. It has been growing pretty quickly, but size compared to Frisco, I think Frisco's, gosh, maybe 178,000
Yeah, it
or so.
just in November, the last number I saw, it topped 200,000. top
Oh,
200,000.
top
So
200,000.
it's
Wow,
almost.
yeah.
I was actually shocked to hear that Southlake was as small as it is. Because it has been
Hmm.
booming for quite a while. It's been a fast growth area. So I was surprised by that. I wasn't surprised
Kind
to
of
hear
makes
that.
sense if you think about the footprint of Southlake,
Yeah.
in terms of just the footprint of the whole
Yep.
city there. It's a pretty small footprint. Makes Southlake desirable in terms of location because it's easy to get to anything within Southlake.
Yeah, it really, really is. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's kind of the relative size. So let's talk a little bit about Frisco and where it's
Yeah,
at.
where's Frisco located? And
Yeah,
let's get
Frisco
into that.
is. I think of it in terms of far north Dallas. Now, if we're talking about North Dallas, I mean it's like far north, way far north Dallas.
Far,
Yeah,
far, far.
there's Dallas, then there's Plano, then there's Frisco. Um, so it's on the way north side. It is north of Plano. It sits kind of it has great highway access too. It sits literally at the corner of the Dallas North Tollway and Highway 121. So those two kind of major highways have really grown up around Frisco, and now that they hit, it's just caused Frisco to absolutely explode. They talk about there's one section of road there that's the $5 billion mile because there's so much development and so much real estate growth going on right there that it's been booming. So well north of Dallas, just right there on the North Dallas Tollway.
Yeah. And we have such major businesses moving
Yeah.
into the Frisco area. And so just the growth is just going to continue. They still have a lot of space out there too. It's not landlocked yet. So it's going to continue to see a lot of growth.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Arlington, which is in kind of closer to Fort Worth on the south side of Dallas Fort Worth, is the number 3 area in the city. But I think it's going to make a push with so many businesses moving into Frisco and that north growth. It's going to make a pretty strong push over the next 10 to 20 years to overtake Arlington. So it's a challenge.
So it's big. It's over 200,000 people. And so you can imagine 200,000 people in a suburb. You do have a ton of traffic out there. But like Brian was mentioning, the roads are really good. The infrastructure is really good out there. They really kind of plan for massive growth. And so you could get around pretty easily. It's a spot we definitely hit all the time to hit all the big shopping over there, including like Nebraska Furniture Mart. I mean, come on, just hit me up and we'll go tomorrow. It'll be great.
I wasn't sure when, but I knew Nebraska Furniture Mart was going to slide into the conversation somehow. So there we go. We went ahead and got it knocked out early. So the thing about Frisco, it is easy to get to Dallas. And there are a lot of employers in Frisco and kind of up along that North Dallas Tollway. Not so much Fort Worth. I mean, if you're working in Fort Worth, then Frisco's probably not your place. We can point you to some areas that are farther west that are going to make a lot more sense. Frisco's a great place to live, but not really if you're working in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Okay, so what else do we have here?
So we're talking about what are the cities known for?
Yeah, I mean, Southlake has, just check websites like niche.com or greatschools.com, and you will find out that Southlake has one of the premier public schools in all of Texas. I think it's rated 6th in all of Texas. It's Carroll. Is it Carroll ISD?
Yes, but we're talking about what they're known for. We'll get to schools in a second. You're so excited about the school program that you're like, let me talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are known for their school system.
They're totally known for their school.
Athletic programs in their school. That's a reason why a lot of people go there.
They are absolutely nuts for the Carroll Dragons.
Yeah, and Southlake is a very like we talked about, it's small, but it's very high end. It's a luxury suburb.
Yeah.
And so its price points are, its starter price points are a lot higher than, we were talking about the median price points in Dallas, which was what, $295-ish or so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just it's 270. It's fluctuated between 270 and 290, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know, Southlake's a little
And
higher than that.
yeah, you're going to see at least 3 times higher than that to
Yeah.
really get into Southlake. And so it is a beautiful luxury city overall.
But we do one of the reasons is we'll talk more about the school system itself, but the Carroll Dragons, I mean, it is a huge deal in Southlake. I mean, it is a community thing. It's almost like they've got their own. It's not professional, but the way that people get behind the athletic programs and all of them, right? So it's not just we're not just talking about the football program, but they've got a great wrestling program. They've got so many things. It was it was the number 6, I think, for athletes overall, and for the state of Texas. So people really do get behind. It's a people say it's a cult. It's kind of one of those things that people just get behind it. It's exciting. It creates a community. Yeah.
It's the Friday Night Lights fun for sure out there. Absolutely. And the size of the community helps keep that, like, everyone loving on those schools. So it has, when you think about Southlake, it really does have some just rolling hills. Mm-hmm. It does have a lot of trees. It's made up of a lot of, there's neighborhoods, but there's just a lot of pocket houses, if you will, that are just put out on acreage. It's got a lot of acreage properties, a kind of more like farmland. Like it's
spaced out more.
Yes, spaced out more. It's very unique over there. And so you could get into a master plan community. You could be off of a golf course. You could get on some land out there. And there's a lot of little just pockets. And so you really do need someone who understands Southlake and what's happening out there to pick your best location. So
yeah, that's exactly
and then,
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then, I mean, hello, shopping. They do have a great outdoor mall.
Yeah, so it really is. Whether we're talking about Southlake Town Square, that was kind of the first area that it put that section on the map, and just a great high-end outdoor mall. It's got all sorts of shopping. And it's one of those kinds of things because it's outdoors. It's a drive up. Like you drive up to the store, you get out. It's cool to walk around and see it all. But if you just wanted to get in and get out, then you still can do that. Although I think once you're there, you're going to get sucked in. But, it is a great, and lots of restaurants and that whole area. So it started out as a town square, and then it's kind of branched out across the street and down the street, and it's become a real big thing.
Mm-hmm. And fun things like Trader Joe's is right there, and that's super cool. They also build some super high-end townhomes off the town square. And so, you could actually live off that and enjoy a luxury lifestyle right next to this big outdoor mall. And so that's pretty awesome out there for Southlake. So
it is pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Frisco.
Okay.
Frisco, I mean, we could be here for maybe, 10 hours talking about things to do in Frisco.
Yeah, I mean, it's known for a lot of stuff. One of the, there's a couple of like big ones that are lately, and that's number one, the Dallas Star is there. So, for folks that care about the Cowboys, and there are still a few folks in Dallas that do, they have this massive, it's become like this huge complex, but that's the Cowboys practice facility. And now they do all sorts of, I mean, it's big enough to have a football field in there, and they do all sorts of events and concerts and cheer competitions and all kinds of things going on at the Star. And like I said, that's kind of become a shopping and restaurant complex just outside of that as well.
Yeah, we could, I mean, Southlake, like we talked about, has that one kind of main square, but Frisco has like shopping upon shopping and then upon shopping, because you have, the one you just mentioned there.
There's Legacy and Legacy West.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. Legacy West. Legacy West is their newest shopping edition over there. It's just uber high-end shopping, which is super fun. Awesome stores to go to, amazing restaurants along there.
They've got some really great restaurants, actually. That is terrific. Just some terrific eating.
Yeah, it really is terrific eating. So, and all these things are pretty close together within Frisco too. And so they're, if you live in Frisco, I mean, all the stuff is just very, very easy to get to. So you even have like, you have just really cool things like this. There's a video game museum,
Yeah,
right?
that got thrown in there because our son helped us with research. So
That's
with
right.
through the video game.
And he was probably thinking, why have we not been to this video game museum? If I put it in this, maybe my parents will take me.
That's it. That's exactly right. Do you think they have Pong?
Pong. They have to have Pong.
I think
mean,
Pong would be in there. Maybe Donkey Kong.
Pong, Donkey Kong. I knew that was coming because it rhymed kind of with Pong.
Yeah,
Pong, Donkey Kong. Yeah.
it kind of
So
worked.
they
It
have.
kind of worked. You know what else that Frisco has though is it is going to be. It's still coming. It's still building, but it's going to be the PGA, the Professional Golf Association. This is one that I love. Is moving its headquarters to Frisco.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, and that's going to draw in a lot of people, right?
Well, I mean, it literally makes Frisco the golf capital of the U.S. So they're putting in 2 courses. It's the golf capital. There's already a number of golf courses there. So great spot. Excited about those the golf courses. There's talk that the Byron Nelson golf tournament might move there. So you know,
It needs to.
Goodness gracious.
It needs to. Okay, so we talked a little bit about like Southlake has a little bit of rolling hills and larger trees and a little bit the layout there a little bit. So Frisco is like flat on flat.
It is flat on flat.
And
really, although there are some trees now, it's kind of one of those, and a lot of the neighborhoods are those that, like Plano, kind of get bulldozed.
Yeah.
Kind of bulldoze the trees and then chunk it up. In many cases, lots are smaller. Some of the areas, some of the neighborhoods we'll talk about have some larger lot options, but the lots are smaller. They're master plan development, just and then it's.
I mean, it's just it's not just on a plane out there, and they just chunked it up, and so we've been watching that area grow for the last 14 years. So it's been pretty phenomenal growth out there. So
one of the other things I was gonna bring up though is. Frisco also, so we talked about the Cowboys, the Dallas Star, but they got a minor league baseball team in the Frisco Rough Riders. They have a professional soccer team in FC Dallas that plays at Dr. Pepper Keurig Dr. Pepper Park, which made me think. Right, so I missed the memo when Keurig and Dr. Pepper merged. Like when did that? Did you know that was?
I have no idea.
I had no idea.
They're literally merged. The companies are.
They are since 2018. Like it isn't even a recent thing. So for those of you that are
someone who knows some information about that, please tell us because we missed that memo. So anyway, so it's so many things to do in Frisco. Great, absolutely fun area. No wonder why it's so awesome to be quarantined there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So now we actually can talk about schools. So now we're on to schools.
Well, and so schools are really interesting. We hit on that on Southlake already because, like I said, I think it's the 6th tops in the top maybe 6th school rated in all of Texas. I mean, think about how big Texas is. This is all of Texas. So the school is pretty amazing, and
so I'm gonna look at my cheat sheet because I'm looking now, and we missed that. It's actually the number 2 district in Texas overall.
Number 2 district.
Yes.
Whoa, 2. That's 4. That's 2.
As in, can only get one better in the whole state.
Yeah.
Like
so. If that's somewhere where you can afford the price point there, I mean, a lot of people, want to be there for the school system out there.
And it's the number 1 for athletes. So the number 1 just overall district for athletes and athletic programs. So again, for now, the thing it's always a pro and a con, right? So in a district that's phenomenal for athletes, you get a ton of great athletes. So there's a high level of competition, and competition is wonderful because it makes people better. right? Competition challenges people and pushes them and helps them get better. It, for folks that are maybe average athletes or who just want to play on the team and want an opportunity, it's harder for those kinds of kids. So definitely a breeding ground for some elite athletes, and like every year the football program produces some of the most elite quarterbacks in the country, which is awesome. But it's challenging too.
And the thing you need to know about Texas, if you're watching from out of state, this is different from state to state often, or area to area. But where you live in Texas determines what school system you go to in the public schools. Some areas, I know I have family in Denver, and there's some areas that are open enrollment, and you could choose to go to other schools within the city. But here in Texas, where you live is where you go to school. Very, very few opportunities for open enrollment. So if school systems are super important to you, then you need to make sure that that you live within the school district where the school is going to. So that's just a little side note.
Great side note. And as we transition to talking about Frisco, I just have to, this is the part where I insert the disclaimer that you should do your own research. Whenever we're talking about schools, you should absolutely check everything out yourself. We use the information we're sharing today is from a site called niche.com. Greatschools.org is also a terrific site. But, do your own research, talk to folks, and, pursue what's most important to you in a school system if you even have folks that where that's important.
Well, so Frisco, pulling this information right off those websites, is number 7 overall in Texas. Whoa, okay, still elite.
So not bad.
Not bad.
I mean,
not bad.
Number 7 overall in the state of Texas. We're comparing number 2 to number 7. So there's really not I mean, don't get me wrong, 2's better, but still not a long fall. Still in the top 10 districts overall in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and then number 27 for athletics. Number 27 rated for athletics. So Carroll ISD was actually rated number 1 for athletics. So 27, but still we're talking overall in Texas. And then the number 39 district for best teachers.
So I actually thought that was a pretty cool stat, just because I think teachers are awesome and we don't give them enough credit. So the fact that Frisco is focused on that and that's a highlight for them is pretty great.
I do think that's great.
One of the interesting things about Frisco and about different school districts is they have very different strategies. Right? So Carroll has a system where pretty much everybody goes up through the same high school system, and it's not as big, so they can do that. But Frisco has the opposite strategy. They've tried to build out multiple high schools and a lot of different high schools, so the high schools kind of stay smaller. I'll contrast that to, a similar size city like Allen, and Allen has the entire, everybody funnels through one high school. So that's one of the biggest high schools in the entire country. Well, at Frisco, what's great is since there are so many high schools, if you think about the number of different opportunities kids have to jump into programs, whatever the program is. I mean, if it's orchestra or band or football, baseball, cheer, all of those types of things, there are that many more slots because there are 5, 6, 7, I think there are 6 high schools in Frisco now. And that just is a great place for people to have opportunity.
Yeah, and so again, I'll just put that disclaimer in there. If there's a certain high school in Frisco, since there are so many different ones that you want to feed into, let us know, because we want to make sure that we get you into a house that feeds into that particular high school. Super important there. So
totally.
So,
great call out there. So that, speaking of which, let's talk about neighborhoods.
Yeah. We touched on this a little bit because we've been talking about areas and some of the things with neighborhoods and price points, and but Southlake, their median price point. Okay, this is their median price point.
Can I chime in with just so median means half of homes have a price below that, and half homes have a price above that. So the homes that are sold, half of them fall below that, and half of them fall below.
And DFW's is
270. $270,000. So half of homes in Dallas Fort Worth are below 270, half are above 270.
So in Southlake, that number is $897,000. Okay, that's a little higher. That's a little higher than the DFW average.
It is a little higher than the DFW average overall. And the reason for that, we talked earlier about all the things. So it's close to the Dallas Fort Worth area airport. They're also they did a nice job of building out in larger lots. And when you think about location, okay, so great location with large lots equals higher price. I mean, you have to pay more for that location. But the other thing that Southlake did, and it's kind of always been this way, is it was largely custom builders. So it was built out in a bunch of different pocket neighborhoods, and on those large lots, custom builders built many of the homes. So those, by definition, are more expensive too, because you've got all that customization and special features and uniqueness.
Yeah, and we show a lot of houses out there in Southlake, and they're, each one of them is unique. You don't see very many cookie cutter homes there at all. They're all very unique. And they range from, the most custom homes you've ever seen to just a beautiful, great house on a nice big lot. So great real estate there. So neighborhoods, I mentioned a golf course earlier. They have Timarron Country Club. And so that's a master planned neighborhood that you can live in. Those houses are going to be older. So a lot of them will be needing some updates. But that's kind of in the works in a lot of houses out there.
And a cool neighborhood with a golf course, Timarron Country Club golf course running all the way through it. Actually, lots of trees, nice terrain, a wide range of homes. So certainly homes all the way up well into the seven figures, but then some smaller homes, some more affordable homes, at least relative to that 900K median.
Median, exactly.
Well.
Yeah. There's Estes Park out there. That's an established neighborhood. They don't mess around when they build these neighborhoods in Southlake. They're beautiful. They're very particular about, the houses having a certain quality to them based on the various neighborhoods that you go into. And many of the houses in there are awesome luxury builders. So each house in there is unique as well.
Yeah, they have lots up to a half acre in there. And, Estes Park is kind of one of the neighborhoods that there are really two sides to Southlake. There's the side that's south of 114, and then there are the homes that are north of 114, kind of closer to Grapevine. And Estes Park is kind of one of the first neighborhoods that was north of that 114, and just beautiful land and neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's Carillon, which is really attached. That's attached to Estes Park right there, really, but it's new builds, building since maybe 2014-ish or so.
Maybe even a little bit later than that. Yeah.
Yeah, right in that zone. Still some new builds available out there. Even some attached housing out there. Again, beautiful high-end luxury builders. I mean, we could go on and on about all the little different neighborhoods. Lots of little pocket neighborhoods. Tons of little pocket neighborhoods. Just where you turn down a street and then you have, a row of beautiful custom homes. So
speaking of attached neighborhoods, I'll just touch briefly on the fact that there are that means townhome. For those watching, that means attached means townhome, and there are some of those that are new construction in Carillon. There are also some of those in Southlake Town Square. So totally love that. If you're looking for walking to shopping and restaurants and so on, Southlake Town Square area is just it's just brilliant.
Yeah. Did you see my eyes light up when you said that? I mean, those in the town square, they're small but mighty. I mean, they are amazing.
Do I have an angel singing sound effect? Let me see if I can.
With all... if I can come up with that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Frisco then, because, Frisco's big. I mean, and so it was voted, Money Magazine #1 place to live in the U.S.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in
Yeah. I
2018, it was the
mean,
number
there you
one
go.
place. And now, just to be clear, that's cities of a certain size. So you had to have a couple 100,000 people to make the list.
Yeah.
That's not saying the South Lake's not awesome, but it is had to be a certain size. Yeah,
Yeah.
at number
It's
one in the
good. And
U.S.
we
for
talked
homes
about
of a certain size.
we talked about the median price point in Southlake. Frisco's still a lot higher than the overall median, but it is more reasonable at the 475K price range.
Yep.
It's pretty new out there in Frisco overall, so you're getting there's a lot of new homes out there, a lot
Yep.
of newly built homes, a lot of homes that are uh, no more than 10 years old. And so really great place to get a newer build home, which
Yeah.
typically has a lot of energy efficiencies in it.
Yeah. There are and as we contrast the two, and VL, thanks for joining us. Saw your comment that living in Southlake for many many years. You're exactly right. As we talk about Frisco, the traffic, because so much is booming and growing out there. That's one of the it's one of the challenges, right? Southlake still has that smaller town feel as Frisco has gotten big and bigger. Edgewood, talking about neighborhoods, Edgewood is a newer neighborhood where there's still opportunity to build. It was voted the number one new community in Collin County, which Collin County is a big county. I mean, it's going into Prosper and McKinney and Allen. So being the top neighborhood in Collin County is it's a pretty big deal. The there's super high end neighborhoods. Some of those are going to be the ones that are older. We're thinking about Stonebriar, thinking about Newman, thinking about Starwood, and those are all neighborhoods that were built really closer to that 121 tollway intersection. They were in earlier. So those are places where the trees have grown up, where there's more landscaping, they're more mature. In a lot of cases, they're larger lots too because they were first in. So now those homes have seasoned, kind of like some of us. They're a little more seasoned, like fine wine. They get better with age, and just some beautiful homes in some of those areas.
Yeah, because it's so large and it's booming so much, there are so many master plan communities to choose from out there, and communities and places to live. And your lot size is not a feature out there, I should say. A lot of times you're getting, they're just, like we said, it was kind of built out on a plane, and they just started putting up the city, and the houses they're just kind of slammed together. So lot size, if you're looking for something with larger lot size, there's a lot of other places to consider. So don't feel discouraged, because Frisco's close to a lot of other suburbs and areas. But when you go to look there, that's often feedback that we get when we do showings out there is, oh, these have small lots. So
particularly for people moving in from other cities, when they're moving in from other parts of the country, then that's definitely a thing we get get about Frisco. There are like you said, there's several communities nearby. The a newer neighborhood on the north side of Frisco. I mean, and by north we mean like almost Prosper, but on the north side of town is called Hollyhock, and love it. Both love the builders that are building in there, but also I mentioned that PGA headquarters, and it's literally just west of that PGA headquarters. So it's on the west side of the golf course, the neighborhood, the setup. And all of that. So we're excited about Hollyhock, and really excited about that. It's off that 380 corridor. 380 is a highway that runs east-west. It really runs from Denton out to that McKinney area, and it's booming. You're going to see tons of shopping and restaurants and stuff grow out there. Hasn't really grown up yet, so it's still kind of on that outer edge of really what has been developed. But everything's going out that way.
You know what I like about that, though, Brian, is for people listening, is if you go out a little further like that, you're looking for a particular house, and you can't find anything. A lot of times we say, well, all you do is have to go out a few miles. So because it's kind of newer out there and there's a lot of growth happening, you have to kind of deal with that construction and deal with roads being constructed and that kind of thing. But you could get an amazing price point on your house by going a little further out there. And if you can wait out if you could wait it out, then you can get some awesome deals out there. And then as the area grows, so will your price point on your house, and that's a very good thing. So
yeah, those of you that have been watching before, one of the things we say is that drive until you can afford it. And the closer to town, stuff's more expensive because the land's more expensive. So just keep driving. And Hollyhock is one of those is one of those places that starts to get a little bit more affordable. And then the other thing is, when you're building, if you can build early, then a lot of times as the prices in a neighborhood go up, as the construction prices, as neighborhoods sell and builders raise their home prices, then you actually get the benefit of that equity. So as neighborhoods develop around you, you get the equity. As the builders just raise their prices, then you pick up that equity. So it can be a great idea if you don't mind putting up with driving to the neighborhood, driving to the restaurants, or the construction around you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good reasons to consider each of the different areas. And we kind of went over a lot of them today. I hope that was helpful for you all. And the good thing is they are both DFW cities. And if you live in one, you can always go enjoy the other benefits of the other one. Like we're in both of those cities all the time as well. So wherever you live in the DFW area, you could go have fun in these different areas as well. So it was just awesome to see you guys today.
Yeah, if you haven't already, and then hope this was helpful. If you haven't already, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to see you again and get you the notifications. We do this every week, as well as producing other content to help you guys learn about DFW. So thanks for hanging out with us. And if you want to learn more about the DFW neighborhoods, then be sure to watch one of these other videos, and we will see you there. Thank you.